Yeah, yo, it's every truck driver. How the fuck are ya? I was thinking today. Happened to notice, I guess, what was it, Friday? The stock market on Wall Street went over 17,000. Oh, it's a milestone, it's a milestone. I keep saying to myself, I've never heard so much bull crap in my life. I remember back when it was about 14,000, if they hit 15, it was a milestone. But see, then came a thing called the stock market crash in 2008. Derivatives, mortgage market, all these banks that are too big to fail. And what they do? They failed. And the biggest mistake our American government made was to bail them out. Your and my tax dollars paid to bail them out, along with people like GM and a few others. Yeah, every time you hear that expression, you know, that the government's going to bail somebody out, that should be a, woo, God, that what I hear? That means that the government just decided they're going to take your and my tax dollar and give it away to somebody else who screwed up. Oh, should I mention Solyndra? A couple of these alternative energy companies. Yeah. $500 million there, $500 million here. 66 billion to GM. We're still not quite sure what happened on Wall Street, other than there was so much fraud committed and repackaging of mortgages and stuff like that, with toxic mortgages included in the good mortgages, because somebody down in Washington said, we have to make housing available for anybody, no matter what the cost, even if they can't afford the monthly mortgage payment. And you and I paid for it. But see, while all these big Wall Street financial firms went in the toilet, they bought each other up, whatever you want to call it, and they got back to it as business as usual. Oh, I don't know, let's see, from 2008 to 2010, I spent about half my time either partially or fully unemployed, because of the stock market crash, because the companies that I was working for, the boroughs that we had contracts with, just put a freeze on everything. Yeah. But now, all of a sudden, Maria Bartiromo and all the rest of them financial wizards that you see on TV are saying how great this is. These companies are coming back. They're being bulls. And the people that started this crap back in 2007, 2008 are back to making their millions and hundreds of millions of dollars in bonuses for managing these funds, whatever they are. And I keep seeing a dichotomy here. They're making all their millions and billions of dollars and patting each other on the back and saying how great they are. But it doesn't jive with what we're seeing on Main Street USA. Oh, Main Street USA. That's you and me, Joe Sixpack type. Government says, well, we're doing great. We got 6.5% unemployment. Do me a favor. Don't buy what the governments tell you. If you add in the people that are currently unemployed, the people that have basically given up and dropped out, it's probably closer to 12 or 13%. If you're a minority between 18 and 30 years old, your unemployment rate is probably 25 to 28%. But see, it's like anybody else. Anybody can screw with the numbers and twist them any way they want. Wall Street's out doing their fat cat thing. The Federal Reserve's printing money for which there's no gold to back it. And they're bailing out the economy. And of course, I've sat here and watched on YouTube all these talking heads, these pundits, you know, the economy's going to crash. The American dollar is no longer going to be the primary monetary fund. The 5 central banks, the Bilderbergs, the Illuminati, and all the rest of that have one thing in mind, is to make you think you're doing good as they pull their George Orwell thing on you and make you a slave. And then you see the ads on TV. You've seen them. Buy gold, buy silver, get out of paper money. Now, I remember back in about 2002, I had about $10,000 in gold coins. They were Canadian coins. I hit some hard times. And I had to end up selling quite a few of them off. Did it on eBay. And from what they were originally purchased at previous, from where I got them, which was through my parents after their demise, I didn't get that much of a bump in them. But then we saw gold go from, I'm going to say, $1,100 an ounce up to $1,400, and everybody's saying, buy gold, buy gold, buy gold. Has anybody bothered to watch recently where gold's going? It's fluctuating, and it's not always going up. That's why now, all of a sudden, they're pushing the cheaper commodity, which is silver. I remember, oh God, it's got to be back in the 60s. The Hunt brothers in Texas had a big scam going to jack up the price of silver. Ended up doing some jail time over it. Ended up getting the living daylights fined out of them. Yeah. Use gold, use silver for your 401k. Well, that's fine if you've got it sitting in your house in your pocket. But if they're sitting there telling you that you have this percentage of gold in our account, that you don't physically have it in your hand, if the economy goes bust, guess what? You ain't got jack doodly squat. You got a piece of paper which is about worth as much as toilet paper to wipe your ass with. That's what these people don't tell you with their 401k benefit stuff with gold and silver. So there's a total disconnect, okay, in the United States of America between what you see and hear on Wall Street and what you hear and see on Main Street. And this is something that the liberal news media doesn't want to talk about. This is something that people like Maria Bartiromo, who hangs out up there at Wall Street and knows all the pundits and is on Fox News, doesn't want to talk about. Trust me, if the economy has another glitch in it and one more time we go in the toilet, we're not coming back out of it. And it's going to be the perfect excuse when everybody goes gaga for the United States government to sit there and declare martial law to prevent rioting and this and that and all the other stuff that you heard about on Agenda 21 or Glenn Beck or Michael Savage or Mark Levine or Rush Limbaugh that have predicted this crap happening for a long time, plus a few of the flakes out there. But see, there is a major disconnect between Wall Street, which I will call La La Land, and John Q. Public, who lives on Main Street. The dollar is not worth the paper it's printed on. The mom and pop stores that all of us should go to rather than the big box retailers. And we should demand American-made products, not crap that's made in Indonesia, Japan, India, China, or wherever. Walmart, Target, Kmart, the rest of you. But people are just willing to sit back and whatever happens, happens. Well, you know what? I'm not sure what's going to happen. But I know there's a big disconnect between these idiots up on Wall Street, or if they're over in London at their financial center, or Germany, or any other big You know, was it the Nishi thing in Japan? Yeah, it all looks good on paper, folks, but it's all paper profit. And as long as they can perpetuate this, okay, it's like a Ponzi scheme on Walmart, not Walmart, on Wall Street. And it's a Ponzi scheme on all the rest of the central banks that keep printing money of which there is no value behind it. It's been reprinted 10 times, 20 times, 30 times. I've said it before. The American dollar today, now I said this 20-odd years ago. The American dollar today, 20-odd years ago, I said it was worth about 25 cents cash money. I'm willing to say that the American dollar today is worth about 5 cents, if that. And of course they sit there and say, well, you know, our government, $14 trillion in debt when Bush came in. It's $17 trillion in debt now. It's scheduled to be $23 trillion by the time Obama leaves office. That is, if he doesn't try for a third term and become King Obama. But the fact is that most of you people don't want to realize between unfunded mandates and everything else, our government, those are those 535 idiots on Capitol Hill, the 2 in the White House, the Fed. By the way, did you know the Fed is actually not authorized to print money for America? Go back to about 1913 or so. The only organization that was authorized back then to print money was the United States government. Remember things like the silver certificate? Look at the top of your bills now. It says Federal Reserve. The old days, it was a silver certificate that said this government backs this dollar bill with so much silver sitting somewhere. When was the last time we had an audit of gold, physical gold that we own, whether it's here or in London or any other big city? Gold that's owned and possessed. It ain't in Fort Knox, folks. I'm here to tell you that. And every time somebody wants to go up to the Fed up in New York City and inspect their gold, and trust me, there's been a couple countries like Germany and France and all that, and the people say, well, we can't let you do that right now. We're a little too busy. We can't show you all the, you know, what we've got. And they're showing that there's so many tons of gold to this country or tons of gold to that country. I don't think it's there. I think it got sold off. Got sold off to the Chinese, to the Russians, or somebody else. The American gold has been stolen by our own government and the central banks. And Wall Street's part of that problem too. But see, I don't know none of them. I don't have all the answers. I admit it. There is no one person in this world anymore that can know everything about everything. I don't give a damn who they are. But I can be mighty goddamn suspicious. America is getting screwed, blued, tattooed by big business, by Wall Street, by our government. And what do I hear? And when you want to do something, what do you hear? And I remind you, all your politicians, federal, state, or local, have been bought off by the PACs, the lobbyists, and everybody else. They're just puppets on a string. And people like George Soros and the Illuminati and whoever else, they pull this string or that string, and shit happens. But see, they're in the background, but that's where the real power is. You got time sometime? Go look up a video here on YouTube. George Carlin made it before he died. It's called The American Dream. There's about a 4 or 6 minute video on it. You need to listen to all of it. It's about consumption. It's about the big corporations. George Carlin nailed it before he died. And it needs to be put all over the internet. But see, we've got the 47%ers, the bleeding hearts, the liberalists, the socialists, the communists that don't want you to know anything. They want you to watch Honey Boo Boo, Duck Dynasty, The American Voice, anything but a news story. And I'll remind you, all news organizations, print, internet, television, are owned by 6 major organizations. And even Fox, Fair and Balanced, is owned by one of these 6 major organizations. And they ain't friendly to conservative types. Don't you ever believe it. But that's just the truck driver's opinion. But I do see a total disconnect between Wall Street and Main Street. And you and I live on Main Street. And the people on Wall Street are sucking the life out of our country and out of our businesses, sending it overseas and everything else. And our government is taxing what's left to death. How do you like being a slave? Just asking.